Hey everyone, Dave DiCaprio here, the Step-by-Step Financial Coach. Today I'm joined with Nick Barbosa. We connected a while back and Nick reached out recently, sharing how a few of the principles we talked about really changed the way he does his finances and really helped him financially. So I asked him to come on and just share a little bit about his experience. Nick, I really, really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, it's awesome. I appreciate you having me and allowing me to share a little bit of what has worked for me.
So let's get started. So before we spoke, what was going on with your money at the time?
To put it in simple words, income is very inconsistent. I'm a business owner, as you know. I think owning a business as a young person, the first 5 years is always so hectic, and you never know what to expect the next month, and it's hard to adjust your expenses based on what you're making. That's what I would say. And so there would be months where I was expecting a certain income, and I would overspend, and then over time you get into credit card debt, a consumer debt, and that's what ended up happening over 2-ish years of running a business. You put some money into ads, start trying to invest here, invest there, and over time it accumulates. And I got to a point where at the end of 2024, I was in a deeper hole than I would like to be. And that's when I saw your videos and it piqued my interest and I reached out.
So how did that, again, you started talking about you were racking up the credit cards. So how did that feel? Like what kind of stress or pressure, like were you dealing with at the time because of that, in addition to, running a business?
Yeah, it's almost like a hole you keep digging, and eventually it's like, well, if you dig deep enough, can you climb back out? That's the big uncertainty in your head. I feel like if I were to label it with one specific emotion, it would be uncertainty.
That's a word that I think a lot of new entrepreneurs, business owners, can share in.
Oh yeah,
Like what wasn't working for you even though you were trying? Because obviously you were trying, and I know you from your business, you're a hard worker. So
yeah.
I know you were trying.
Oh man, not understanding where my money was going, and that's the biggest thing that you pointed out to me during our session. I think was accounting for every dollar that comes in, knowing where it's going to go, where it ends up going, and the beauty with that is that it's been what almost a year and a half since I started implementing these practices that help me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Over that time, you do it so often and so much that you start understanding your habits more,
Hmm.
and it becomes easier to predict your own next move. And getting an understanding of these patterns that's really the life changing and that's what I think the consistency is the most part, where it's not like just one thing that you do; it's the
Right.
implementation of the habit.
Right. And
Yeah,
you found clarity. And again, clarity with
correct.
your money. So
Yeah, yeah.
what,
If you're not accounting for it, you don't know where it's going. Yeah.
right. So what finally made you say like I need something different? Like somewhere in there, something made you just say it's time to reach out.
There's this quote that I like, and I'm definitely not gonna say it the right way or the way that I've heard it originally, but it's learning is encountering new information and changing behavior, not encountering new information but keeping the same behavior. So your rate of learning is how quickly you can how short the amount of time between seeing information and applying information is.
Right.
So seeing your video and being like, damn, I should really apply this information, because if
Hmm.
I'm not applying it, then I'm not learning anything and I'm not changing. It's not making me better. So what the hell's the point of it?
Right.
And so that's what more mentality was around when I reached out to you at that point in time. It's like, all right, let me actually apply this information, because starting to understand financial literacy, I think, especially in the beginning, though, that's like the bare bones is like where your money is going. That's the bread and butter of it.
Right. And that's really the crux of what I do is because a lot of people don't know where their money, they think they know where their money goes until they really look into it. Is that something
Yeah.
like what's the one thing that really clicked for you that changed like how you look at money?
Knowing where it's going. That if you're not if you're not
Knowing where
if
it's
you're not
going.
if you're not keeping track of it, and it's the same thing with, I'm a trainer, so it's the same thing with training. People say, "Oh, I eat too much," or "I eat too little." It's like you don't know until you track your calories. You have no idea.
Right.
Same thing.
Right away, what's something that, after we met again, so we met and you started to make some changes. So what's something that you started doing differently right away? What's something that you implemented right away?
Literally from the day we talked, I scheduled a time on. I do it on Saturdays because the way I do my week. Like I do my strength training throughout the week, and then the weekends are my soccer days, like the days that I do for sports. So I'm super sore by Saturday, and I don't really want to do anything physical.
Right.
So I wake up Saturday morning a little, sore and groggy from soccer for Friday night. Go to a cozy coffee shop that I enjoy, get my little coffee, sit down. So it's an environment that I enjoy being. It's something that I enjoy doing, so I have a positive association with it, and I go over every single expense of the week. Out of the 52 weeks of the year, I probably went at least 45 Saturdays to do that.
So that right there probably leads into my next question. What's the one thing that you actually changed or changed for you, whether it was financially or just day to day? And, for me, hearing that story of what you did going every Saturday, consistency.
Yeah,
Would you
100%.
agree with that?
100%. And listen, it doesn't. I always say it doesn't need to be a weekly thing. I
Right.
like to because I like to keep it consistent. I could very well, and I have before, push it to like a bi-weekly or monthly thing simply because of trips. Like sometimes you travel, you go to Orlando, you go to Disney, you're with family. You don't want to take part of your trip out to go do budgeting. So I'll
Right.
do it beforehand, or I'll do it ahead of time. A monthly thing would also be great, as long as you're keeping track of it and actually doing that work consistently and understanding your habits. I think that's all you need.
The more clarity you have, the easier it's going to be.
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So how do you feel about your money now compared to
Oh yeah.
before?
Yeah. So starting to built myself an emergency fund. Also saving for some personal side projects as well. Started investing again into my Roth IRA account, which I had since I was 19 years old. I put about like 5K ish at that point in time. Kind of set it aside for 3, 4 years, and then started investing on it again this past year of 2025. Definitely not definitely not as high as I would have hoped, as 19-year-old me would have hoped it was, but as a
Yeah.
24-year-old right now, I am pretty happy with at its current standing. And most importantly, the emergency fund I think is the biggest peace of mind one, because obviously if something goes wrong, then I'm not in a deep hole anymore. So and I have a little bit of cushion with my emotions in terms of stress,
Yes. You're not reliant on a credit card or something of that nature or taking a loan out, which
or having
again,
to ask family or friends for
or
money.
family or friends. What was your money situation like compared to now then? Like what, you have some peace of mind.
Peace, freedom, and control are the three big ones.
So income obviously is a big thing, but was it a controlling factor in the change of how you felt in 2024 when we met, before we
Yeah.
met, to now? Has income, an increase in income, obviously it helps, but what would you tell the people listening, like what got me to the place where I could start getting my debt paid off and emergency funds in place and things of those nature?
The thing I think that a lot of people, the trap that I think a lot of people fall into is lifestyle inflation. So as long as when your income starts increasing, you start increasing the rate at which you also spend that money, as opposed to using the surplus of the money that you weren't spending before as something that will drive you towards more buying more assets as opposed to liabilities.
Hmm.
And I think having that awareness prior to the income scaling was very good for me.
And so overall, how has this kind of changed with the financial, but how has it impacted other areas of your life outside of money?
Less fear of having to rely on my parents, less burden on my parents of them worrying about me. My dad feels more comfortable taking a week out of work. He's well into his 60s at this point in time. He should
Hmm.
be at the time where he's starting to slow down. He doesn't
Hmm.
feel like he needs to outwork me to support me anymore because he knows I'm pretty taken care of, more or well better taken care of at this point in my life. Um, that alone is very worth it. I mean, it can't
Yeah.
even, you know.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And what would you say to someone who feels stuck right now, like you were in 2024?
That the power to change your life is 100% within, like it's with you. It's with you doing things that you may not want to do but that you know you should but you're avoiding. uh, and that's a burden that a lot of people try to deflect by blaming the taxes, blaming the government, blaming their boss, blaming their job. But You got to work with what you have, and it's up to you at the end of the day. Nobody's coming to save you, so you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, those are good
If a
words.
habit change is what you got to do, then that's what you got to do.
Those are good words. And habit is the other kind of key word. It
Yeah,
becomes a habit, right?
correct. Now
If
I feel like
you
I can't live without budgeting anymore. Like
right,
it's not
right.
something that it's a non-negotiable for me. Like if I don't do it for like a period of like 2 to 3 weeks, I start getting itchy.
Well, you're starting to wonder, like, hey, I knew I spent some stuff, but I really have to see what that looks like at the end of the day,
Correct.
right?
Exactly.
Until you see it, you don't know it.
Correct. Exactly.
Okay. And kind of one last thing, is there anything that you'd want someone in your position to know that we didn't cover today?
Oh man. That's an interesting question. I think personal responsibility is the main thing here. Again, drawing parallels again to training. The way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So getting right with your body, with your mental health, with your health, and with your financial health all come from the same bucket, which is you accepting that these are things you're going to have to live with for the rest of your life and taking personal responsibility to fulfill yourself there.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. Any last closing thoughts before we wrap up?
I don't think so. Just very grateful that to first of all meet you at the gym. First of all, second of
Yeah.
all, pay attention to your content and have it click for me, and actually engage in conversation with you about it. And then obviously very grateful for your help over time as well.
Well, I appreciate you, and I appreciate you coming on and letting everybody hear your story. So
Oh
thank
yeah,
you. It was a privilege, and I will speak to you soon.
sounds great.